Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2014 USBC Open Championships. This is Matt Cannizzaro live at the National Bowling Stadium. We're here tonight to see a team event, some top players from the West Coast. Aaron Smith alongside me, and we'll be underway in just a minute. Once again, folks, we're about to get underway here at the National Bowling Stadium, tonight's team event. This is Matt Cannizzaro and Aaron Smith live behind lanes 15 and 16 at the National Bowling Stadium. This broadcast is brought to you by Track Bowling, the official Bowl TV and Showcase Lane sponsor here at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. We're looking forward to an exciting night here with some top players from the West Coast. We're going to reset the machines and be underway in just a minute.
You may begin your competition. Good luck and have a great time out there.
All right, and there's the bell. Aaron Smith, here we go.
Sound is always a factor, a key factor at that, Mr. Cannizzaro. And yes, we're back again right here, live on Bowl TV, presented by Track. Got some very talented players out of the Northwest area. So we're excited to see what they can do here on the 43-foot sport bowling compliant team pattern. Teams are sharing the love right now, giving some fives. They got 4 teams right here between lanes 15 and 18. It's going to be a long day if I'm having trouble pronouncing words already. But we're going to get underway just like that. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We already got 182 folks. We did run a little bit late. We actually had a 50-year presentation for Richard Bliss out of Portage, Indiana. He became the 3rd competitor this year to reach the mark and 167th all-time. So congratulations to Mr. Bliss. We'll actually have 2 more 50-year participants tomorrow, so we'll be looking forward to a big story on bowl.com about the longtime participants. But right now, we're looking at Oregon Bowlers Association 1 and 2 out of Cornelius, Oregon. They're looking at a 33-41 number on top of the regular team standings right now, posted by Storm Products Incorporated out of Brigham City, Utah. That is the goal. Todd Sipes starts it off with a strike. Ryan Lastly looking to convert the 4-pin here in the early going. That's all you need sometimes. Hope folks got to tune in earlier today. Lucas Wiseman was bringing live action from the ITRC of the SWAC Championships. We had 2 days of action over there, and luckily the schedule worked out. He finished up about an hour or 2 ago, and we're able to come to you live from Reno at the National Bowling Stadium. So you got your fill of Bowl TV today, folks. Hope everyone got a chance to tune in on this. I don't even know what day of the week is it. Is it Friday? It feels like a Friday. It's a Saturday. How about that? a little bit, Matt Cannizzaro will give everyone the rundown of what these 10 players are trying to do. They did practice a little earlier. I don't recall if it was today or yesterday, but they're downstairs at the showcase lanes, the track showcase lanes. Get an idea of what the team pattern looked like, and Matt will give you an idea. They have a few lefties on the pair as well. There's one right there, Gary Ledford, 10 back. See our good friend David Preng asking about the 50-year guys for tomorrow. Well, Mr. Preng, Val Medic Sr. and Michael Weiser will be the two gentlemen at during the 3 p.m. squad out here in Reno to get number 50. So Val out of South Bend, Indiana. Michael Weiser out of the Michigan area. So we'll be looking forward to help those two gentlemen celebrate their accomplishment as well. Our 50-year guy today, Richard Bliss, a two-time champion here. He actually bowls with USBC Hall of Famer Gordy Bayer. Gordy is bowling his 52nd Open Championships, and he still has a lifetime average above 200. I want to say it was 202 on the participation wall walking by a little bit earlier. So an unbelievable record. Gordy has 3 titles of his own, I believe. They were teammates in 1979. They won the team and team all events titles, so be sure to include that. I'm talking to Richard Bliss. I've known him for a while from being from the same area. He was very, very humbled by the experience. Didn't have many words to say. Was just excited about it and a little bit nervous, but who wouldn't be? It's quite an accomplishment. So congratulations to those guys, and of course Val and Michael tomorrow. Sean Copeland mixes them up. Jason Hollinsworth cleans up the 3-6, and we're already through frame 1. Hope everyone likes the new setup for the 2014 Open Championships here on Bowl TV. A little bit different, a little similar to last year. As you can see in the top right-hand corner, we have the spinning track logo. Track is the presenting sponsor of Bowl TV at the Open Championships, as well as the track showcase lanes. And for those of you who have the broadband capabilities, you can see today's live stream in high definition. Just click on the gear setting on the bottom right of the video screen, select a 720p, and you'll be good to go. Tough break there for Sipes in the early going, 4-9. Playing the lanes a little more direct there. There's a lot of ball speed. Nice shot by Kathy Tribby. Her spare in the first frame. Like one of the DV8 Misfits. You know, they come in multiple colors. So I'm sure you can see the bright yellow ball. reminiscent of the old Sunstorm. For those of you old enough to remember that.
All right, Mr. Smith, everything seems to be working properly. We're on the right scoreboard. We have audio. We have folks in the chat room. We do appreciate everybody joining us live here at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. It's an intimate gathering here in this 7 p.m. team event. Not using quite the whole house. Still planning on having a good time regardless, and pick some top players, again, from the Northwest area. And a little bit of diversity on this pair, so that's good. And talking to Craig Tuholski earlier, just to get a rundown of what the plan was. And as Aaron mentioned, they did take advantage of the opportunity to practice on the track showcase lanes and get a look at this year's 43-foot pattern and come up with a little bit of a game plan. And pretty simple at first. Their goal in practice was to have everybody further to the outside, not with too much surface, but just a little bit, to get out there and try to break down the outside part of the lane a little bit. And the strategy there is to create a little bit of area misroom to the outside. And Craig said they have a couple of players with some hands who then were going to move left immediately and go about 12 to 8. While the rest of the group, the right-handers at least, stay to the right in that area where they're comfortable, playing a little bit straighter, even off the corner. And again, the guys with the hands, it gives them the opportunity to get it out to that spot where the dry is being created. And it'll be a similar strategy on the left side as well. Two lefties in Ledford and Davis. And same idea, just play towards the outside. He said both those guys have a lot of hand for left-handers too, so they have the ability to move a little bit right, open the lane up a little bit. So we'll see how that develops. We saw that in an earlier broadcast on the doubles and singles pattern, where the lefties were able to get right a little bit and arc the ball. And then we saw on our last team broadcast, the lefties chose to start a little bit straighter and ended up moving right with something a little more angular, a little more back end after a while. And we've seen some good scores. Big number they're chasing already, 33-41. So that's certainly going to take some work. And as you can see, we got the scoreboard look, so you can see how things are unfolding here score-wise now. So we get a look at Tuholski up on lane 15 right now, left the 2-pin, sparing the first frame.
Looks like he's starting with an ebonite pivot point.
Well, when we talked, he mentioned only ebonite balls, so easily recognizable for me. And he said he had a great look with the pivot point in the practice session, and was kind of undecided at the time between the pivot, which is the solid version, and the pivot point, which is the pearlized version of that ball. Felt like downstairs, at least, his better look was with the pivot point. And we'll see how things transpire here. The rumor is potentially that for some folks, maybe when they're loose and relaxed and wearing their shorts and just hanging out downstairs, they might hook a little bit more. Then they come upstairs, the light comes on, maybe squeeze the ball, throw a little bit harder, heart's racing. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see a change here, but we got the game plan for him especially. And after that, as he has to start moving left and giving away the pocket a little bit and going around it, he's going to determine if it's going to be the Pursuit S or the Legacy. So a little bit weaker balls as they start to migrate. So that's a general strategy. We've heard that pretty regularly for the last handful of years as team strategy and team play really have come to the forefront. I guess I didn't know, too much about the strategies and things involved, and it really obviously makes a whole lot of sense. But we really started to talk about it back in 2006. For me, we saw some people, have success playing all together and coming up with a game plan, and seems to be, in most cases, a good way to go. Have everybody in the same general area, make the moves together as a team. The main difference in the recent years is the new oil that we're using, the Kegel Ice, which is designed to be much more durable and hold up longer throughout the process. So the transitions happen, but they happen later. So not so much that it plays slicker or anything, it's just it holds up longer, so your moves are going to be different than they might be 3 years ago, or even back home practicing on the pattern with a different oil.
Very true, Matt. A lot of folks been coming out to nationals for a long time, and you just get used to the moves after a while. It's whether it's at the end of the first game or 3 frames in. Folks might have had that mindset. It's getting to be that time. Whether or not they're really seeing it, it's coming. But the ice does hold up quite a bit better, and just be able to stay in that same area. We saw the big scores last year, obviously. 20 teams cracked the 3,400 mark, the highest score of all time with 35-38. So we'll see how it pans out this year. We know we've, a lot of rumblings on Facebook and everything, and all along social media, folks are saying it's going to be big scores, but you'll never know until you come out here and you lace up and see what the number is at the end of the day.
Certainly some years, yes, we see big scores. Some years, it's a grind. That's what the Open Championships really is all about. So no matter what happens this year, you can expect something at least a little bit different next year. And of course, with only one shot at it per year, you're gonna wait. A lot of folks get very excited, and that's a long wait. Well, as soon as they're done, the wait begins for next year, 365 days or so before they're competing again, especially if it doesn't go well. You really want to have another chance at it, and you have to wait a whole year, and it's going to be a whole brand new set of conditions.
It does make for a long plane ride or drive back home, or for us, we have to just sit around and watch everyone else take their chance and do much better than we did. But we're used to that by now, so. There's a nice shot by Tuholski. Exempt player during the 2008-2009 season. Made it through the tour trials back in my neck of the woods in Maryville, Indiana. That might have been the Hammond one. It was a while ago. I was just a kid. My first experience talking to Craig was at the 2009 Masters. He was the early leader. And, soft-spoken young guy, and only had good things to say earlier, and was glad to share some of their ideas and what they're planning on out there. Also, a shout out to his son Chris, who's back home, hopefully watching. 16 years old, apparently recently earned the trifecta, the hat trick of MVP awards. I believe was district, state, and then All-Stars, and a handful of 300 games. So I think he's already better than Dad, is the rumor. But Chris, if you're watching, keep it up, and hopefully you enjoy what junior bowling has to offer and take advantage of the opportunities. And then we'll see you out here in a handful of years. There's another pocket 710 on this pair. That's might be the third already, Matt. Ball's coming into the pocket just a little bit late, and you expect one corner, and you certainly don't hope for the other. Nathan Davis takes the one. He's one of the 2 lefties that I spoke of earlier.
So once again, the team pattern this year, and folks, if you're new to this whole thing or just joining us for the second consecutive year, 2 different lane conditions at the USBC Open Championships. Team event is 43 feet this year. And those lane graphs and some details can be found on bowl.com. Just go to the Open Championships page, and under the information link, there are additional links to the lane conditions. You can see graphs from different angles. You can also get an explanation of those graphs and what to expect here on the 2014 Open Championships kickoff show that is archived on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/bowltv. There's an Open Championships playlist, and that'll give you the kickoff show, any videos we've done here in 2014, as well as previous live streams. And if you remember to subscribe to that channel, you'll be alerted when something's happening, and you'll never miss another broadcast. Again, the sweet sounds of Matt and Aaron here at the National Bowling Stadium. These 4 teams, talented players again from the Northwest. PBA regional players back in the day. Of course, we mentioned Tuholski, formerly exempt. Kathy Tribby, one of the top female contenders out there, and also very active in running events in the Oregon area, keeping bowling alive. To our right, Erik Hohlbein had a 300 game here in 2011 at the National Bowling Stadium. And on our pair, Zabelle had one in 2002, Billings, Montana. So these guys, well, you may not have heard of them on a national scale. They've come to play. A lot of strikes being thrown to our right, and I think once our folks here on 15 and 16 get comfortable, we'll see some strikes as well as they grind out game number 1. And one thing we talk about that is absolutely crucial to success here at the Open Championships is spare shooting. As Tribby misses the 4-pin. But we talked to our team leader, Storm Products, just the other day. They were led by right-hander Lindsey Boomershine, who was in the pocket all day long. And in the 3 games, she only got less than 9 twice. And it was a whole lot of 9 spares. She didn't strike too much, but 220, 230, 240, and made all of her spares. She was clean.
I think she still struck a little bit.
Well, she was certainly through her share, but there was a lot of 9s on that score sheet, and that's what it took. They squeaked into the lead with 33-41. The previous leader 33-11, so they needed every one of those single pin spares. And you never know. This is a long event. We kicked off February 28th. We'll run for 136 days until July 13th. So that 1 pin or those 10 pins could be the difference between seeing your name in the rafters and coming in second place, which everybody knows. Nobody remembers who finished second.
Especially at the 2006 Super Hoinky Classic.
That is a fact.
In case anyone was wondering, it was Matt Cannizzaro. But we digress. We're back to the lanes right now. Sorry, Matt.
We're looking at the left-hander. I'm always curious how the left-hander is going to handle things. Being one myself, it's back-to-back open frames for Nathan Davis. That was the 367, followed the 710. So often, being alone out there, you kind of feel like you're stuck, and you know you're close, but you're stuck. So what's the move? And you make a big move, and it always seems to be disaster. So hopefully these two lefties can work together, talk a little bit.
It's a nice shot by Hollingsworth. That looks like a TV8 Diva Pearl. Yeah, you weren't kidding about not too much surface. A lot of pearl balls in in these folks' hands right now. So
well, an early misconception about the lane pattern, and a lot of folks, and we've mentioned it numerous times so far this year, but as soon as you see 43 feet, some folks grab the Abralon and the sandpaper and they think that just means heavy oil all the way to 43 feet, the ball's never going to hook. And these guys have done their homework. They understand that the lighter volume, certainly the distance might dictate where you play on the lane. And based on the basic and traditional rule of 31, 43 feet, subtract 31, and you want your break point to be about 12. And there's a rangefinder down lane at 10. So if you're in that general area at your break point, you got to feel pretty good. But then you have to study the volume to figure out what kind of ball would surface you want to go with.
that's why we see a few of these guys as their ball heads down lane. It's a little bit right of, just like Losley's shot right there. It still came up high, so. But once again, the styles of the bowlers really come into play in making such choices, and it is a jigsaw puzzle out there. Just being able to put all the pieces together right to find the right photo or find the right picture, and just hope to have that look the last game to be able to put up that number big enough. We saw that with our team all events leaders. Town and Country Lanes 1 had two big 1100s to start, and then ran into some pretty rough transition in the middle to late game 3, and they had to have a huge 9th and 10th to get to 1050, which is still a nice score, but
and
that's 100 pins off their last game, which usually is the case. It goes the other way around, where you want to set it up to have the big game, have that area to really go bombs away.
I think that's where the ice comes in, the game changer, so to speak, and where that transition might have started, early to mid game 2. It's not coming until almost game 3. So teams maybe learned a little bit last year, bowling on it for the first time. It was just introduced last year. It wasn't even available to the world until the start of the Open Championships. But a lot of folks, like you said, you're used to the lanes transitioning a certain way. You have a group of guys you bowl with long enough, you know how things work, and then all of a sudden we throw that in there and you're anticipating, because part of that is trying to make the move stay ahead of things. And if you've experienced it a certain way and you try to stay ahead by making those moves early, kind of just on a whim, just doing it. And now you're seeing that later, so you kind of get stuck at that point. Do you stay where you are and wait for it to come, or do you go back where you were knowing that it's going to happen later? So that's the benefit of talking to teams that have been out and practicing on the pattern when you can, especially downstairs on the track showcase lanes. Because not only do you want to get an idea of how it's going to start, but you want to see how it's going to change as the games progress.
Yeah, those are solid points, Matt. And with that hour practice session, you can certainly work together as a team. I worked with a group last year on the day off before my actual bowl dates, and they wanted to simulate it as close to practice as possible, and then just see how it transitioned from there. Took the first 10 minutes just playing, a little bit right of the track, seeing what it would do. Not really caring about results so much, just kind of figuring it out, and then eventually moving everyone to where they wanted to go. They ended up putting up a decent number last year, obviously mostly because I wasn't on the team, but came out of here with a 3100. It was I knew they were happy with that score, but yeah, just the ability to work together as a team is becoming a bigger factor out here. I think that's And when we talked to our doubles leaders a few days ago, father and son duo of Russ and Dylan Meyer out of Fargo, North Dakota, Dylan was very adamant about his success being part of his team working together. And if they didn't, that it was going to, make for a long day. And, you can certainly see that out here when scores aren't going the way some people would expect. That's probably the reason why. People are shot makers out here. I mean, all these guys on this pair making good shots out there, but communication and team play is what's going to be the deciding factor when we're at the end of game 3 and looking at their overall number.
Well, we saw that conversely with David Anthony in our first doubles and singles group. Mike Diaz, PBA 50 tour champion. They did not attack the lanes as a group so much, and this strategy can be similar in doubles and singles now because in those events you're bowling with 6 on a pair compared to 4 in the past. There's fresh oil for every squad, which was new last year as well, and you stay on the same pair, so you have the opportunity to kind of determine how things are going to go, and you can employ the same team strategy, play them together, make the moves together, and try to create that area, which is why we expected last year for single scores to be higher than they were, because you take the opportunity during doubles and you break them down and you're comfortable on the pair, you make the right moves, and same as in the team event where you expect to open them up and have a big last game. Same for singles, and we didn't see that, and with those guys, David Anthony and them, they were playing all different parts of the lane, and they didn't bowl poorly, but they didn't take advantage, I guess, of that opportunity to play together either.
There's a great shot by Todd Sipes. Really motors it down there and gets the ball to finish nicely. So even though we're seeing a few opens early on here, which, they had a few bad breaks with a few 7-10s as well, both teams, but it really does seem like they're playing together well and communicating, watching what's going on here. The high rev guys are a little further left, but not like an arrow or anything like that. They're within a general range, so certainly can imagine by game 3 they'll be able to move in. Hopefully that middle oil is still fairly intact and just have a spot to throw it at and have it funnel back to the hole.
Well, and last year the wild card was the left-hander, especially in the team event. And curious to see how that develops here in 2014. Most left-handers you'll see are typically a little bit straighter up the outside, but the pattern dictating getting in a little bit. Not too far, but interesting to see how many left-handers are comfortable there. And of course, having multiple certainly helps get you some of that breakdown and transition that we talked about for the right-handers too.
Just not having a problem in the early going here is one pair to our left on 17 and 18. Oregon Bowlers Association 4 off to a
Here, work with me here. Put your left hand up and your right hand up in the shape of an L.
Did I say to the left?
13 and 14 is to our left.
Oh, whoops.
It's okay. I'm sure nobody caught that.
One of these days I'll get my left and right figured out. Maybe that explains my bowling. But yes, one pair to our right. My apologies. Oregon Bowlers Association 4 is off to a fantastic start. Jeff Abney, Kevin Humphreys, Ben Flores, Kenneth Crevier, sorry Ken, and Nick West. They've had one open so far. A few doubles up there, a lot of spares. So we'll keep you updated on them as well. All right, on 15, Trent Zabelle looking for a double. Looking in the chat room, it appears Mr. Zabelle is getting married out here. So congratulations. Celebrate with a double right there, and we'll have Tuholski looking for 4 in a row.
Crowd is growing in the chat room. We do appreciate everybody joining us. If you're just coming in, this is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith live, 2014 USBC Open Championships at the National Bowling Stadium behind lanes 15 and 16. We're here for the 7 p.m. team event. We'll be here all the way. 3 games tonight on this 43-foot sport bowling certified lane condition. Craig Tuholski, pivot point, looking for 4 in a row. Effortless.
That was pretty good. Hollinsworth getting it back from way downtown. Three in a row for Hollinsworth. Here's Copeland. Crazy antics, runs high. Leaving the 3-6-10. He's looking to keep his Dutch 200 alive. Finding troubles on the left lane. That is the left lane, right, Matt? Just want to make sure after my blunder earlier. Not a problem for Copeland. He stays clean through 6. Ryan seems to be the one caught in between right now. I know he's made a ball change already. Just kind of move in a little bit. It's light. Adjust a little bit. Seems to be hitting high for him, so few opens in the early going here. Can see it opening up for him a little bit later on in the day, though. So it's 2 shots in a row we've seen gone high on 15. Lostly happy about the mark there. You gotta be.
Sure. I'm sure. I kicked myself out for a while too. It's okay. God, I mean, got 27 or 24, right? So, trying to figure something out. It's always out there.
There's a mixer for Tim Myers. His first strike of the game here. Looks like an IQ Tour Fusion. Seen a lot of those out here so far this year. Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in on their. It's still Saturday, right? Yeah, it's Saturday. How about that? Saturday night, taking some time out from partying and taking some bowling. We got almost 500 people tuning in. There is 5 in a row for Craig.
He made the right ball choice there.
Taking care of business.
It's game time decision and paying off already.
You know, it's a little late out on the East Coast, already approaching the 11 o'clock time of the night, so only 7:52 out here in Reno, though. Copeland perfect on 16 so far. Still looking to get the right lineup on 17.
So, Aaron, I believe it was Copeland and Hohlbein, who to our right, had a good run here in doubles back in 2011. Hohlbein with the 300. I want to say their total was 1466.
That is correct, Mr. Canizaro.
High scoring year, but 1466, finished 6th that year.
I think that would be a pretty good score this year, though.
Last year's winner, 1440. Brian Burkhart and Rick Gatlin from the St. Louis area. We'll have them on the live stream later in the year. If you're curious about the live stream schedule, again, find the Open Championships page on bowl.com, click on the information tab, and you'll find all kinds of goodies, including the rest of the live stream schedule.
You mentioned Burkhart and Gatlin, 2 months to the day. I believe May 22nd will be when they get ready to defend their doubles title, the late squad. So we'll be tuning in at 10:30 out here. It'll be 1:30 on the East Coast, but 12:30 in the greater St. Louis area. Both of them out of there, working with Inside Bowling. Our good friend Mike Flanagan.
You certainly don't want to mess with success. Those guys bowled at 10:30 last year and threw some big shots when they needed to get it done. 1440, one of the lower winning scores we've seen, but again, fresh oil for every squad has changed the game a little bit and made those double scores come down a little bit. And we'll see that again. This year's pattern, 40 feet, 1 foot longer than last year. And again, if you'd like to practice on the team pattern, you and up to 9 other people, so 10 people total, can visit the track showcase lanes, do a team practice session on this 43-foot pattern. 1 hour for $125. And then if you'd like a look at the doubles and singles pattern, you can visit the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships presented by USBC down on the high end of the National Bowling Stadium, lane 69 through 78. A chance to win some additional prize money and get a few games in on the doubles and singles pattern. So check out all those opportunities. So much bowling to be done inside the NBS this year.
All right, we're already in the 8th frame. Moving along right here. Sipes covers up the single pin. Ryan does the same.
Gentleman Brian Schmidt in the chat room tonight works with these folks out in Oregon. All kinds of good tips and facts coming our way. We appreciate that, Brian. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Again, sometimes We'll talk to or see some players who may not be world famous on the global scale, but are top players back home, and we appreciate any insight, certainly.
There's a double for Mr. Myers.
Mr. Myers with his own cheering section here to our left. Good to see friends and family enjoying this trip out to Reno. Pretty soon, more families will be headed our way. The USBC Women's Championships getting ready to kick off across town for the second consecutive year at the Reno Sparks Convention Center, April 11th. And there's an opportunity for our female competitors to come out in one trip and bowl both the Open and Women's Championships, and families that travel together. First time ever was last year that both events held in the same host city in the same year, and now we're back.
Nice break for Zabelle there, crossing over to make it 4 in a row. Got to cash in on those when you can out here. Also looking for 4 in a row, Nathan Davis. The two lefties out here.
Great break there in the trip 6.
Is it true that that's the lefty's best friend?
It can be. I thought you were my best friend, Aaron Smith.
That's what you get for thinking.
Ha! Great shot from Tuholski for 6 in a row and leaves the ring 10. Another tough break for Hollingsworth. Working on an open, and 4-9 there on the right lane. He's throwing the Diva Pearl.
Tuholski takes care of the single pin, still clean. Let's see if Sean Copeland can figure out 15 here.
Checking in on social media because that's what we do. You can find us on Facebook, Sport of Bowling USBC, Matt Canizaro USBC. Find us on Twitter at USBC Aaron, at USBC Matt. And right now we're poking around on Facebook, and there's a report that a gentleman at the Southwest tournament in Wichita has started singles with 28 consecutive strikes, so we'll keep an eye on that. It's pretty exciting news. Certainly, if you're going to have a life-changing event, you want to do it on the big stage.
Speaking of the big stage, Ron Lossley on the board, first strike. And the crowd goes wild.
The crowd is going wild, taking pictures even of the scoreboard. Get that first one off your back, and then it's all gravy from there.
Certainly so. We saw Sean Copeland figure out 15. Looked like he moved in a little bit. Got the ball to project a little further down the lane before making its move, and sent all 10 back for his first double. It looks like a few of these guys have tripped too for Sipes, waving to the crowd. It looks like these guys have started to, at least the righties, I'm watching them more. You're a lefty guy, you should watch them. It's called teamwork, regardless. From what I'm seeing, it looks like the righties have started to migrate just a little bit. Nice break there for Timmy Myers for the 3-bagger. It looks like the moves in are slowly starting to go, but it looks like everyone is doing it. So going back to the teamwork thing, we will harp on every time, I imagine, through nearly 30 broadcasts this year from Reno. Nice shot by Kathy Tribby. Her first double.
Great bowling going on to our right again. Oregon Bowlers Association number 4.
They can put up a lot here. They could be leaving the first game 1140s.
Always nice to get off to a good start. And of course, maintaining that through the transition. And
Zabelle takes advantage of the nice break in the 8th. Turns it into 5 in a row.
Kind of an upper medium sized number they're chasing here, 33-41.
An upper medium? Is that a technical term?
Just made it up. See, we saw a record number of 3400s last year, kind of the new standard, I think, at the Open Championships. Of course, it took 3,500 to win, 35-38. New year, new pattern, but I see well over 3,400 being the number.
50.
There's Tuholski. Back on the strike train. I don't know if I like that or not. Shot was great. This actual saying, though, we might have to work on that. Where's Emil Williams Jr. when we need him?
Got a real job. He's got a career.
All right, here's Copeland up on 16, looking to make it a perfect 9th frame for Oregon Bowlers Association at number 1.
For the record, there will not be a 900 in Wichita tonight. The gentleman 2-4-10 to end the run. So great shooting there, but now back to the Open Championships. Some big scores all around.
And Nick West is up for Oregon Bowlers Association number 4 to our right. He got the first strike already, 2 more, 11:41. Humongous start. Certainly out there. Jeff Abney, 225. Kevin Humphreys, 256. Ben Flores, 224. Kenneth, Crevier. Maybe someone in the chat room can help me with Kenneth's last name. 226, and Nick West, he doubled. One more, he'll be at 210. And when you add all those together, 11:41. And you know big scores are around because Curtis Woods is standing behind us right now.
The original.
The original. His son put up together a fantastic performance. Just missed taking over the regular all events lead.
Well, I think that's a great segue, Mr. Smith. While we have the opportunity, we'll get a quick rundown of the standings. The top 10 here at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. We already told you what's leading in the team event, 33-41. But Aaron is the man with the numbers.
I'm just hogging the paper, that's all. But yes, 33-41 from Storm Products Incorporated out of Brigham City, Utah. Featuring a very talented group. Lindsey Boomershine, as you mentioned already. Tyler Jensen, Chris Sand amongst them all. So 33-41 is the number. Sitting in second, Town and Country Lanes, number 1 out of Heartland, Wisconsin, 33-11. Just yesterday, Precision Pro Shop out of Lake Worth, Florida, featuring, I believe he said 4-time PBA champion Steve Wilson, 32-37. Coach's Corner 1 out of Lafayette, Colorado. We saw them during their doubles and singles here live on Bowl TV, 32-36. And Union County 4 out of Roselle Park, Nevada, or New Jersey, excuse me. I was thinking Nevada. That group featured Eric Forkel, 31-95. That's the top 5 for regular team. Rounding out the top 10, 31-56 from Fanatic Sports Bar out of Wood River, Nebraska. In regular doubles, the father-son duo of Russ and Dylan Meyer out of Fargo, North Dakota, 13-18 on top. They just edged out Jason Akins and Darius Wiltz, who are at 13-16. Joey, oh boy. We met Joey last year because his group shot a Baker 300 in the side event down there. And Joey, I'm sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce your last name. Sakusi, maybe? And Craig Fester out of Michigan, 13-04. Jason Eman and one of our bowlers to shoot 300, Daryl Carrion, sitting in fourth with 1296. Paul Geiger and Justin Feldman round out the top 5 with 1291, 1278. Currently the number to make the top 10. In regular singles, the owner of the first 300 in the 2014 Open Championships, Terrence Blevins out of Chicago, sitting on top with 783. Bill Farber out of St. Cloud, Minnesota, 772. Damon Stockfleet out of Iowa, 767. Dave Gajeski out of Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 754. And Wilbur Betts out of Millmont, Pennsylvania rounds out the top 5, 745. 713 currently makes the top 10 for all events. Curtis Odom, former PBA standout out of Michigan, 2076. He's followed by Chris Sand out of Brigham City, 2069. Curtis Woods Jr. out of California, 2064. Dylan Meyer, 2061. And Jason Rosinski, who bowled earlier today at Diamonddale, Michigan, 2054. 2001, not only a good year, also the final number in the top 10 for regular all events. And finally, team all events, Town and Country Lanes 1, Heartland, Wisconsin, 97.56. Precision Pro Shot made a run at it, had a really strong single set, but they fell a little bit short, 96.82. Storm Products Incorporated, our team leader, 94.01, then drops off a little bit. In fourth, Union County 4, 91.78. And finally, Zoto's 1 out of Lompoc, California, 91.60 to make the top 10 at 90.84. So there's the rundown of our regular leaders.
I see some folks who would love to be the regular team leaders here. Oregon Bowlers Association 1. Big 9th and the start of a big 10th here. Trying to catch up to their group members to the right, 1140. Gonna have a whole lot of work to do to make up those pins, but that is a team of 9-bagger. If you're keeping count at home.
Tribby unable to get the messenger to cooperate. Tim Myers looking to make it 4 in a row. $1,100 still out there for Oregon Bowlers Association 1. It's going to take a lot of strikes, but get a few doubles up there, and they'll be not too far behind their counterparts on 17 and 18. Myers' first shot looks pretty good. All 10 back. Takes advantage of the nice hit in the 9th frame to make it 4 in a row. At least we're not in the way this year. Seeing the VIP seating, giving folks a chance to actually watch behind us right now. The one and only Mike Jasnow. Checking out the big scores from the Northwest region. Right here in Reno, Nevada. Here's Myers' second shot, looks good. Mixes him up.
This is how you get it done. At the end of the game, the foundation frame, and then of course the big 10th. Took him a minute to get lined up and everybody to get comfortable, it looked like. Game plan seems to be working exactly what they wanted. Play toward the outside, break them down a little bit, create a little bit of area, and then slowly migrate left and use that room to the right.
In the chat room, I see a question about the group from Lafayette, Colorado. That was Mike Diaz's group, along with his son Alex, and they had a few guys out from Texas bowling on that squad as well. Right now, all we're seeing is strikes. We could get used to this, especially a week from today.
Watching people get strikes while you're bowling?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing it.
I seen you throw a strike or two.
Ace,
just
a singular.
Just had to put them all in a row.
No, that won't happen. There's Zabelle. That's 6 in a row.
I know, right?
13 in a row.
That's what I got. And if Tuholski didn't leave that 10 pin in the 8th, it would have been 16. Nice shot by Gary Ledford there. Gets him into the 2-0s. See a question about the shot every year in and out here at the, there's the first miss of the 10th frame for Bowlers Association 1. The patterns are changed every year. Our head lane condition guru, Eric Pearson, works with the good folks from Kelkel to, devise something that's slightly different from year to year, but still playable from multiple angles. That's always a key when talking to Eric about the patterns. He was on our last live stream as well with Breakpoint Pro Shop 1 and 2. So they're certainly want to make the lanes playable. They don't want to make it unbearable out here. This not quite the Peterson out here, not just yet. But the idea is to have multiple angles play so that bowlers of all styles can have a shot to put up some numbers, win some money in the tournament, take home some bracket money, maybe even get their name on a banner hanging from the rafters. Right now, the team event, which you're watching, is on it's 43 feet. Doubles and singles 40 this year.
Well, you can find this year's pattern as well as recent years on bowl.com. Go to the Open Championships page, again, the information tab, and you can look back at how they've changed over the years and study up. Have your local bowling center put out the pattern and give you a chance to practice before coming out. Then, of course, take advantage of the track showcase lanes downstairs. Get your team together, put together a strategy like these guys did, and see it through.
Yeah, we have 553 people watching now, and sure tell your friends they're doing it the right way right now. This is, especially this early in the tournament, this is going to be a fantastic guideline for teams coming out later on in the rest of the year. Hey, these guys won't want their game plan being known so much now. They keep striking like this.
Well, it's pretty basic strategy. It's just a matter of carrying it out, and again, a lot of teams, they'll stick with it, and they'll know there's a point when if it's not working out, it's time to jump ship. But a lot of times you have to stick with it and not panic too soon, and then we'll see inexperienced teams maybe will panic and make a move a little too quickly. Another great shot from Tuholski. That'll speed this pair up as the please pick up the pace of play message has come across the screen. So of all the teams bowling, we are the last ones to be done here in game number 1. So it could get awfully quiet here at the end of the evening.
By game 3, yes.
But if they keep striking like they are, then we'll catch up pretty quickly. Great start from Tuholski. Caps it off.
257. All right, simple scenario. They can add 90 more. So 11:15 still out there for Oregon Bowlers Association number 1. We'll see if Sean Copeland can add 3 more. Found his first strike on 15 in the 8th frame. We got the now we're having a little issue here. National Bowling Stadium not cooperating after Copeland finished his 10th frame. Or excuse me, Tuholski. The crossing team, Oregon Bowlers Association 2, is going to have a decent number here to start. One more strike, be 990, so certainly an all right number in its own right. Like I said, as these groups work together, I just see these lanes getting nicer and nicer. And
then the big question, of course, do you stay where you are, where you feel good, and ball down? Or, as Tuholski mentioned, do you continue the move left and make the ball change as well? So,
well, we will see it right here live on Bowl TV.
And their fellow team, OBA 4, struggling here early in game 2 after shooting 1140 in the opener. There's Copeland with the miscue. Single pin miss. Loses handful of pins there.
So they finish with 1082 in the opener. Certainly a number they can work on. We'll see if Losley can keep it going here after struggling in throughout the course of the first 8 frames. Finished with a 4-bagger. I think he's loosened up a little bit. He's joking around with folks. So let's see if we can keep it going. Looks pretty good. Trips the 4. That's the way to start game number 2, Ryan. Wow, tough break for Sipes there. That didn't look like a 4-6 hit in the pocket, but wow. Myers also making the right moves here. Slowly moving in. Looks like he's staying with the same ball. Still has that IQ Tour Fusion in his hands.
Great shot there from Tribby. Still throwing that misfit pearl. See that ball from 50 lanes away. And we got some Reno chatter in the chat room. Some folks that haven't seen the Reno we've seen. Because again, if it was up to me, I don't know about you, but if we could have a home base of our choice, I think this might be a good one. Mild weather, very convenient city, plenty to do. Baseball season is about to kick off. The Reno Aces, just a short jaunt from the National Bowling Stadium. Great restaurants nearby, across town even, down by the river. Basketball team right across the street at the Reno Event Center. Beautiful views, mild weather.
Tuholski almost left a 7-10 there. Was able to get the 10 pin out. It actually looked like he had moved even a little further left from when we last saw him. So see these guys chatting a lot and figuring out what's going on.
Well, Copeland goes high. And it's going to be time. Again, a couple of these guys with the big hand. And they're able to wheel it a little bit more so they can get left. And there's going to be room to the right. They've created some area. They've got some bounce. Looks like Copeland going to have to take advantage of that here shortly. Or maybe that was just a bad shot.
Well, that's also a big thing in distinguishing, and you hear all the, whenever you talk to, or when you hear teams converse, when you see a shot like that, the first question is, was it a good shot? I mean, some are terribly obvious if they're a rough shot. Some pretty close. Maybe he thought that was clean off his hand and just read too early, and then there's another 7-10. Goodness. Way too many of those early on here. But that's also key to distinguish a good shot from a bad shot, and the teams who you see at the top of the standings every year, they can do that, and then they can adjust off that. But I think these guys have, especially, some of these guys definitely have the hand to get in earlier here if they need to. And I think they've done a good job of keeping that middle part of the lane fairly fresh up until this point, except really haven't seen too many people migrate too far left early on here. So I'm sure it's looking soon here we may see that. See the bump left and see if they created enough friction out there to have hold and can have the ball get back.
Well, sometimes it's just baffling where you move left and all of a sudden you're getting an earlier hook. So just feel your way through it. That's what your teammates are for. You got your leadoff bowler, Ryan Lossley, stepping up on 16. So he'll come back. He'll report back to his teammates on what he saw, and then perhaps they'll make some moves off of that. But great shot there. So he struggled early, as we said. Finished the last game with 4 in a row. Now a double here in game 2. He liked that one. Not much to say. And while these folks, they did get some unfortunate breaks, they had a couple of great breaks as well. So some shots Brooklyn or through the face that did carry. So it all evens out. Great shot there by Tim Myers.
So the guys who are struggling in game 1 both have doubles, and everyone else has spares. The Ledford takes care of the washout. There's a half 10 for Zabelle. Might be time to make a move or a change there if he keeps leaving those. Yeah, we're still a little bit behind the pace of play, so
OBA 1 and 2 getting their money's worth here at the 2014 Open Championships. No squad behind us tonight. This is it for the day, no 10:30.
So they could take as long as they want. We're not going anywhere.
Certainly not recommended.
Well, when I would do that at the women's championships, when I took care of the announcements for the last squad, I would always let the ladies know you're the last squad of the day, so feel free to take as long as you want, but you'll be here as late as we are then. Just for some reason that always would speed folks up. I don't know why.
Well, the instructions are you get 3 hours from the time you leave the squad room during the march to complete your team event. 1 lane courtesy is advised. You never want to get one of those slow bowling letters in the mail and then have to explain to your teammates why you're bowling on the late doubles and singles shift. However, Mr. Smith, next year in El Paso, Texas, a brand new schedule. There are no bad times. We'll have doubles and single squads at 9 and 1 to start the day, followed by back-to-back team events, 5 and 8:30. And the 8:30 doubles and singles squad will be, on certain days, mixed. It'll be split between doubles and singles and team event. It's 5 p.m. and 8:30 for the team event, so a little bit different. No bad times. More time to enjoy what the El Paso has to offer. We're going there for the first time in history. It'll be the 112th Open Championships in our first visit. Aaron was there in 2010 with the USBC Women's Championships as the El Paso Convention Center welcomed that event. And Aaron's already looking forward, already making plans, I heard, for visiting certain dining establishments in El Paso.
Certainly some tasty food out there, especially if you're a fan of the Southwest Cuisine. A lot of great little restaurants along the way, not only in the downtown area, but you venture off the Cincinnati district, very popular, especially at night, right by the campus of UTEP, the University of Texas El Paso. Tim Myers finds some hold there. Great shot. But certainly it was a fun city and a city really looking forward to hosting the Open Championships. I know in 2010 they really went out of their way to roll out the red carpet for the ladies, and wouldn't expect anything else come 2015.
Well, registration already open for next year's event, and the earlier you sign up, the better chance of getting the dates and times you would like. It's first come, first serve, all in real time. So once you log in as a team captain, you can see what times are available. And we do have some incentives, some tiered pricing next year. So certainly check that out. The opportunity to get back some championships cash to put towards different things inside the venue. But all that information can be found on bowl.com, the Open Championships page.
Couldn't quite tell, did not see Zabelle's shot off his hand, if that was a change or just a bad shot. Looks like just a bad shot. Looks like he just got that ball right off his hand, but I saw Copeland threw another ball up on the rack. Looked like something, I believe the new Disruption maybe. No, that's one of the newer ones from Columbia. Green and a dark blue it looks like, so we'll try to keep track of these changes, try to figure out as best we can.
Folks, if you're just tuning in, this is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith live at the 2014 USBC Open Championships here at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. 7 p.m. team event. We're in game 2 of 3. Watching Oregon Bowlers Association 1 and 2. And team 1 with 1082 in the opener, 2 with 990. Tuholski and crew, clean. Almost through 3 frames here in game 2.
Here is the ball change for Copeland. Crazy antics back in the bag, so it looks like he's going to just try and stay in the same area. Go with something that will, or at least I'm assuming that. Maybe this ball hooks more and I don't even realize.
It's like a little bit more shine. So it'll give him some length down the lane.
It actually looks like he moved in there. Hit a little bit hard at the end and the fast 8.
Certainly didn't give that one quite as much room as I expected. Maybe again just a bad shot, but at this point the fronts are going to start to go a little bit, so you want to get that length, and they've created the area to the right. So the shine and the friction is a great combination, so that ball will get back if he gets it out to the right. Somebody pointed out in the chat room, perhaps it's now getting to the first transition for the left-handers, Ledford and Davis. So far, 5 shots, no strikes for the 2 left-handers here in game 2.
And it looks like they are using much different equipment right now. Ledford looks like he's using, can't even put my finger on it what it is, but definitely look like something pearl. So definitely see him cupping the wrist out there and coming out of it, but it looks like Davis was using a hypercell earlier. Still see if he goes back to that or if he made, yeah, he's still sticking with that ball, so that's got to make it interesting as well. They're using, or their surfaces are quite different right now. How about that? I'll say it like that. That shot good for Davis though. His first strike of game 2. 189 in the opener. And our team that went 1140 on lane 17 and 18, OBA 4. A few opens. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opens so far, but they're still striking quite a bit. Ring 10 for Sipes. Great shot there.
Appreciate the kind words in the chat room. Thank you all for tuning in. And we'll be here all night. This is just one of nearly 30 broadcasts from Reno this year. Here at the USBC Open Championships. Women's Championships kicking off in just a few weeks. April 11th. We'll have a few broadcasts from over there. Top collegiate players in the nation will be here in mid-April as well. The Intercollegiate Singles and Team Championships brought to you by X Bowling. And Lucas Wiseman will be in town for that, live streaming from the Reno Sparks Convention Center. And then in June, we'll welcome the top women in the world here at the National Bowling Stadium, the USBC Queens and Senior Queens. And they'll have an opportunity to bowl 3 great events in one trip here at the Open Championships, the USBC Queens or Senior Queens, and the Women's Championships, as well as our side events, the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships, and for the first time under the same roof, the Columbia 340 frame game. That's a fun handicap singles event with some wacky frames and different things, mulligans and no tap frames and such, and you can find out all about that on bowl.com as well. But a lot of opportunities, and then after the Queens, the top senior players headed our way for the USBC Senior Championships in early July, right before we wrap things up July 13th. So again, and I've probably said it, and we'll say it hundreds of times, but if it's happening in bowling in 2014, it's happening in Reno. And so many opportunities to come out and compete between the track showcase lanes, the Bowlers Journal Championships, and of course our main events here in Reno. So if you're not already planning to come out, come on, join us, visit, hang out, party, plenty of room in the booth to sit and enjoy some great bowling, as that's what we're seeing right now, as OBA 1, big finish in game 1, and doing well here in game 2. 33-41, the number they're chasing. Storm Products, Lindsey Boomershine, Chris Sand, Tyler Jensen, Dave Sims, president of Storm.
And Ernest Godecki.
There you have it.
Teamwork, that's what it's all about.
And Chris Sand, the left-hander, made a run at all events as well. So here's one for the lefties, Chris Sand.
I was going to say, we've already seen a few lefties make a run at 300. I know last year we had one lefty, Chief Perfection, Will Garber, who was actually a two-hander. But we've seen some of the more traditional left-handers make a run. Actually, yesterday we had a young man, actually, I believe the brother of Jason Rosinski, Zach Rosinski, put up the front 10 before a tough break, caught a mixer 10. We've seen a few others, so just got noted of a front 8 way down on the other end of the house. I have the lane squad here somewhere, Matt. We can, looks to be David Pinelli of Sacramento, California. Or at least his team's out of Sacramento. He may be from parts unknown.
I'm going to use our fancy partner in crime here, X Bowling. And the X Bowling website is, it is what it is. We're going to post the link to that on bowl.com soon. They have finalized their interface and what they'd like to see this year, so I'm going to pull that up right now so I can follow along and see if we're going to see our third 300 of the year. We've had one in singles. That is our singles leader, Mr. Blevins, 783, and one in team event, Daryl Carrion. Couple close calls the last day or so. Saw front 10 this morning for a 9-pin, ended that run.
We've had quite a few 9-pins ending the run as well. Tuholski mixes them up.
Just got a text from our good friend Shannon O'Keefe tuning in tonight. Some kind words as well. Shannon, miss seeing you guys every day, but Shannon and Brian will be out soon enough with their Cambridge teams. Always a threat here at the Open Championships.
Certainly so. We watched them shoot 3,400 last year, right here live on Bowl TV, and always a threat. Very, very talented group. Chris Viale, Ron Nelson. They know how to strike a lot.
And I have a feeling there's a title for those guys in the near future. They've been so close the last few years in team event, team all events. O'Keefe and Nelson almost had a doubles title.
I believe that was back in 2009. I know Ron had a very, very good year. Had a 300 game, I believe, and big 790 in doubles. Looks like David Pinelli got number 9.
Well, I will possibly head that way in just a minute. Maybe get some video for the Facebook group, because Facebook is the cool thing to do here in 2014. And if you're not a member of our official USBC Open and Women's Championships Facebook group, I strongly recommend getting on there. There's some great discussions happening, and often we'll post some tidbits and videos and trivia and different things to keep things interesting. Stuff that might not be huge enough news for bowl.com or a news release, but certainly is interesting. Various updates from the event throughout the day. Again, all kinds of videos and different things, so check that out. It's the USBC Open / Women's Championships on Facebook, and don't miss out on all that. A lot of folks will send us notes about the forums and different things, and all traffic directed towards the Facebook group now.
A nice shot there by Ledford for a double. Here's Zabelle. He's clean so far, has yet to strike. Looks like he moved in a little bit there. Runs high, 4-pin left standing. I know we had some folks asking about what was going on 17 and 18. They're in the 9th frame right now. When they get ready for the 10th, I'll give you an update, see what we can max out at. Still a few opens up there. Kevin Humphreys got off to a rough start. 3 out of the first 4 frames he opened after going 256 in game number 1. He put together a 3-bagger to make some of that up. Their crossing team, OBA 3, featuring Wade Reese, Joe Lapon, Evan Nash, Jody Reese, and Erik Hohlbein. They went 916 in the opener. They're looking to put up a bigger number, had a real nice 8th frame. Everybody struck. A few spares so far to kick off the 9th frame. We'll get you the update in just a minute here, see what they can max out at. 4 frames ahead of our feature pair right now. Here's Tuholski looking for 4 in a row. Mixes them up, sends pins everywhere.
There's a couple questions in the chat room, Aaron, about number 1. Can we get the 300 on camera? And unfortunately, we are behind lanes 15 and 16, and that gentleman is bowling on lane 38, so that's not going to happen. But I will run down there in a minute to see how things develop in the 10th frame. And the other question is, do they have free Wi-Fi at the National Bowling Stadium? And they do not. Always glad to answer those questions and keep them coming. We're here. Those are the easy ones for sure.
Tough break for Copeland there. That looked pretty good. Staring at a 9-pin.
If you're not looking in the chat room right now, there's some great facts and figures coming at you from Brian Schmidt. Works with these folks out in Oregon. Well, he has come to party with all kinds of background information. So thank you, Brian. And thanks to everybody else for joining us here. Matt Kenazar and Aaron Smith live at the 2014 USBC Open Championships.
And just a reminder, if you've got folks who you know will want to see this and maybe out and about, it is Saturday night and didn't get to check it out live, you'll be able to watch us on an archive on Bowl TV. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at bowl.com/ no, that's the main one, at youtube.com/bowltv, and you'll get to see, or you'll get all the updates on what's coming up, as well as a chance to check out all the archives here from the Open Championships, as well as a bunch of great little helpful notes. Plenty of coaching tips always on there as well. So be sure to check that out and subscribe. And David Pinelli, he's almost up, Matt. You don't have your running shoes on.
Well, as long as I'm there by the 12th shot, that's the important one. So he's got to do the hard part, get 10 and 11 first.
All right, quick update for OBA 4. Shot 1140 in the opener. They are looking at, let's see, 50, 100, 150, 240. They can add 290 pins onto their score. So just a tad under 300. They're at 798, so 1088 max after 1140. That's with 15 strikes. Certainly can be done, but 1088 still out there. As far as OBA 3, struggled a bit in game 1 to 916. They can go 1069 still. And they're just getting ready to start frame number 10.
Question about the 30 clean, and that award goes back as far as I can remember. I've been here since 2005 in this role. I want to say it started in 2004 as far as being an official jackpot, and started small and has grown every year since. And the opportunity, if you get 30 clean frames, to take home a share of the jackpot and a really cool 30 clean award. And with that, Mr. Smith, I'm going to head down, check out David Pinelli. I'll be right back.
All right, thanks, Matt. It looks like Pinelli already got the 10th one. I see 240 up there. So once Matt returns, I'm sure we'll hear a ruckus if he gets to 300. A few frames behind here on 15 and 16. Here's Craig Tuholski after 257 in the opener. Left a 7-pin, almost 710 in the first frame. He's followed up with 4 in a row. Looking to make it 5. Ten-pin stands. And I want to say Pinelli had missed his second shot of the 10th. Looks like a 7 count. I cannot confirm that. We'll have to wait and see once Matt returns here to the booth. Mr. Cannizzaro is back quickly. It looks like 287.
287. I got down there just in time to hear the resounding sigh. Three, 5, 6. Almost left the bucket, but got the 9 out.
So
he's a left-hander.
A left-hander. Another left-hander making a run at perfection
should be
here.
down there taking notes.
You just missed Nathan Davis to make it 4 in a row, so
there's hope for the left side. I feel good about this right now.
There's a nice shot by Hollinsworth. Todd Sipes mixes them up there. Still looking for a double, though. After 3 in a row, Losley has 3 spares in a row. I know he went high last shot, left a 3-6-10. Let's see what the adjustment is here. light mixer.
Here we got a question in the chat room from Butch Cooper, the Ebonite Demo Day guy in the Southwest. I'm curious about Craig Tuholski's pivot point and what the surface might be at. It looks pretty shiny from here, so I would bet against it being 2000. And of course, with the shine and the pearlized cover, a little bit more angular down lane. So he said it was between that and the pivot, which is the solid version coming out in practice. Craig, one of the big hand guys that we talked about, he was able to get left of some of the other players. Folks discovering the power of X Bowling, able to see what's happening across the house. And again, they have a very nice mobile app for your iPhone or Android device, and a very basic web interface as we've been using here. So definitely check both of those out for live scoring from this year's Open and Women's Championships. Right now we're behind lanes 15 and 16 here at the National Bowling Stadium. Nathan Davis, the southpaw, looking for 5 in a row after a pair of spares. And that one creeps high, leaves the 2-4. Looks like that one might have been a little bit slow. Question from Luke in the chat room. Do I bowl? Maybe you can call it that. Certainly will take my shot at it again this year. Started in '99 and have been to every tournament consecutively. Did have the front 8 once in Albuquerque in 2008. Finished with 268. So that was an experience being on the other end of that. As I get up there after 7 in a row, the media guy ran to get the camera. And came back and black clouded me, or I just got nervous and threw a terrible shot. Tuholski, however, not a terrible shot despite sticking on the approach a little bit. He started with 257 today, and 5 strikes and 7 frames here in game 2.
Scoring pace dropping a little bit for OBA 4. They can get to 10:52. 3 strikes from Nick West. OBA 3 still has 10:47 out there. So they'll still be within, or OBA 4 will have a shot at still be in range of that 33-41 number. Gonna need a big game, but certainly, can certainly make a case here. Jeff Abney, 224. Kevin Humphreys, 180. Ben Flores, 189. Ken Crevier. Someone said I said it right earlier, but I don't remember how I said it then. But he shot 247, so way to do work, Ken. And then Nick West, one more strike and get to 215. On OBA 3, Wade Reese, 181. Joe Lapon, 180. Evan Nash, 203. Jody Reese, after 206 in the opener, 257. And Erik Hohlbein can get to 216 with one more strike.
Now, Aaron, not to draw attention to a miscue, but I was about to spit out that Oregon Bowlers Association 1 clean through 7 frames. And then, I feel like I jinxed Mr. Copeland just by thinking it. But I was going to say that not a lot of strikes on the board, but especially for, obviously, Trent Zabelle. 7 spares here in game 2, but filling frames, crucial.
Certainly so. I remember one of the big storylines in 2012, Nicholas J's Pro Shop 2. Only 8 opens total on the way to their 3401 winning total. Crevier. Thanks, Kevin. Crevier. I won't forget it again, or at least I'll scroll up in the chat room and find it next time I have to say Kenneth's name. So OBA 4 at 2189. They finished with 1049. Still leaves them about 1150 and change short of the number. Get you an exact quote in a second there. $11.52 to be exact, to match the 33.41 by Storm Products Inc.
Again, this broadcast brought to you by Track Bowling, the official Bowl TV sponsor at the 2014 Open Championships. Great shot there by Tuholski. 6 out of 8 for him, 257.
6 out of 8, ain't it great? Haha. This is what we have to offer, folks. If you want to turn the sound off, we really don't mind. But then you'll miss gems like that.
Make sure to get that one on the Aaron Smith highlight reel.
I don't think that would be a very long YouTube video, to be honest with you. They're few and far between. That is the disorder. I have been corrected. Not the disruption. Thrown by Sean Copeland there. Nathan Davis back on it after a spare in the 7th. Seeing some solid bowling right now, Mr. Canizaro.
Well, that's why we're here, and glad to show off some top players that may not be nationally known, but here's our opportunity to get on the map a little bit. Of course, we've had some great facts and figures in the chat room tonight, a little background on the long careers of some of these players and their successes, so we appreciate that. And if you're at home watching, looking to get an idea of how to do things in the team event, this is a great one. If you're just tuning in, go back later and watch the beginning from, we caught them in the last minute or two of practice, where they simply decided to all play towards the outside. Not too much surface, but a little bit, just enough to break them down a little bit. And then a few of the guys like to play straighter, so they stayed out there. A couple others have some big hand. We're able to move left towards 12 to 8 range on this 43-foot pattern. Generally, you want to have your break point around 11-12. Now you see they're starting to move a little bit left on the approach, and they have some room to the right that they've created throughout practice and the first game and a half.
There's 3 in a row for Lossley. He was one of the guys who definitely was struggling. Didn't have a great look to start. We had a little bit of over-under, and that has certainly changed as he ended game 1 with 4 in a row and putting up a nice game so far here in game 2. Great shot by Kathy there. Grinding away, a few strikes, a few spares, looking for a few more doubles there. There's a 3-bagger for Gary. For the most part, we've seen these guys stick with the same equipment. We've seen 1 or 2 ball changes, but mostly just been small moves today. As you just mentioned, and before as well, not as much surface as we're generally used to see out here, but the lower volume of oil certainly allows that, and these guys are working together and making it look pretty nice out there. Here's Zabelle, got his first strike of the game in the 8th. Let's see if he can make it a double. And gets it. Looks like a ball change for him. I was just talking about folks just making the gradual move, but that looked like something a little bit shinier. Trent's hand.
So Aaron, I don't know if you noticed, but we are sitting right underneath one of our 3 streaming video cameras here at the Open Championships. So when we're not live on the air, friends and family at home have the opportunity to tune in to bowl.com and check out the Open Championships page. And we have some webcams. There's some fire out of Tuholski right there.
A vicious messenger.
For the 3-bagger. So again, if you're becoming a fan of these Oregon bowlers like we are, they'll be on the lanes tomorrow. You can catch them on the webcams, and there's 3 streaming video cameras throughout the venue, and each one shows a block of lanes for 3 minutes and then shifts to the next block, and each one has about a 6-shot rotation. We also have some point and click cameras on there, so you can zoom in and check out the action in the settee areas or look at the scoreboards if you can see them. And of course, the X Bowling live scoring, the app or the website. All good ways to keep up with the action here at the 2014 Open Championships.
right, as Ryan Lastly gets ready to step up in the 10th, 1163 still out there. That is a humongous number. They could be well on their way to the team lead with a huge 10th frame here. Great shot by Ryan to kick it off.
Well, we have a minute. I'm going to address another question in the chat room. Luke asks, any idea who holds the record for the most strikes in a row? Was it JJ when he threw 858? And that was at 2004 Open Championships. John Janowitz took home the regular singles and regular all events titles, but he does not hold the record for the most consecutive strikes. That actually belongs to Ron Vokes, the 2009 regular all events champ. He shot 857 in singles, 290, 300, 267, and went on to win the all events title with a then record 23-21.
What was the number of strikes?
30.
30 is a lot.
30 is a lot. I don't know if we had 30 in all 9 games combined last year. Maybe between the two of us even.
It'd be a stretch.
I
know I didn't strike a lot in team, a lot in doubles, or at all in singles. So, how about Ryan Lastly here? 169 in the opener. Finally got into the right zone, made a ball change or two.
If there was a most improved award, he'd be our guy right now.
Nearly 100 pin improvement. This one for 255, all 10 back.
So if anybody said he was looking nervous and unsure in game number 1, it couldn't be more the opposite here as he polishes off that 255 confidently.
He just summed it up right there perfectly.
10 more pins.
Tribby takes care of all 10.
Is there like a repeating God.
Here's Myers. He's finding a few strikes at the beginning of the game.
See, that didn't sound good from back here. Couldn't see what it was, and lucky to leave only the 2.
Yeah, his ball has been finishing a little, he's made the move in, but the ball hasn't been finishing as strong as some of the other guys here, so not sure what the move is for Tim here. If it's ball down, maybe move back to the zone where he was, or...
Well, I was going to say, after Tribby's first shot in the 10th, where she just got the 7 out, looks like the ball's getting down the lane, but maybe something with a little more pop on the back end as they get in, try to create a little more angle.
Tim's taking care of his spares. He's going to have a nice game in the 2 teens here. That's where Kathy Tribby will be at. 216 in the books.
Clean 216.
5 opens combined between both teams so far here in game 2.
So Myers sticking with that same ball.
You always strike on the fill ball.
Always a good opportunity to try something maybe. But it looks like he feels pretty good about that. Maybe just a speed or hand change is the answer. Great break on the 8-pin there for Ledford for 4 in a row. It all evens out, Aaron. A couple 7-10s, a couple breaks like that.
Certainly caught the 7-10 bug in game number 1. Certainly not going on game number 2. That ball change working wonders for Zabelle. After starting the game with 7 straight spares. That's a 3-bagger. He went 240s and 247 to be exact in game number 1. OBA 4 off to a solid start. They're not shooting themselves in the foot just yet. 1 open so far through 3 frames, starting the 4th. Pretty nice start for OBA 3 over on 17 and 18. OBA 4 once again needs 11:52 to take a share of the lead. And after these guys finish up, we'll let you know how far away OBA 1 is. It's looking like they may be our clubhouse leader at the turn here during the 7 p.m. squad. Great Northwest on display here at the National Bowling Stadium. All these guys from the Oregon or Washington area. Good place for an 8 count for Zabelle. Gets him to 217.
Fought through that one, made all the spares through 7 frames, and then the strikes came. That's how it is.
Certainly so. That could have been 1 or 2 of those spares. All of a sudden that turns into 170, 180. Got to grind through the transition here and just not give away frames. That's a time-tested tradition here.
Well, OBA 1, just 1 open frame. And we're already almost at the end of the game, so they're filling them up nicely. And as they did last game, throwing strikes in the 10th.
Tuholski looking to get into the 260s here. Already 250 plus.
Tuholski making his 14th Open Championships appearance. And he was surprised by that. He missed a couple of years there because he was exempt on tour. Joined us for the USBC Masters, but excited that he's well into his career. He was looking earlier at the 25-year plaques. Always a great goal for our participants. The big milestone, number 25, get yourself a plaque, and then every 5 years thereafter. Good to have goals when you come to the national tournament.
Tuholski's goal.
Also good to have 5-baggers.
Might, we're hoping his goal included making the turn at 520 plus, because he's there.
The highest series of the year, 783, coming in singles. Good place for that.
Nathan Davis, 236. So with 1 more strike here, OBA 1 will be at 1100 even, which they are. 269 for Tuholski. Copeland could add 50 more. They could be making the turn with 1150. And be well on their way to walking away with the regular team lead.
Certainly a good head start. $33.41, not a small number. See if Copeland can finish things strong here in the 10th. Great shot there. Remember last game, he missed a single pin in the 10th. Just kind of slowed the momentum. Then Lossley and Myers picked it back up. Both starting this game with 3 in a row. Everybody else caught up late in the game. We've got ourselves a ball game here.
Craig Tuholski, 5:26 at the turn, leading the way here. Like I said, we've just seen some great efforts, even after some rough starts for Losley and Myers coming back. Myers had the big finish to get to 2-0 and put up a very nice clean 217. Losley after 160s, 255. This is certainly a team effort all around here.
Copeland with the ball change. Looks like he's kind of squared up a little bit straighter here in the 10th. And 2 great shots. Getting a little more length out of this ball choice.
10:48 in the books for OBA 2. They're at 20:38. Here's the final shot for OBA 1. Gives them 11:46. 22-28. The winning all event score from last year.
About that. So they're in position here for a shot at it at least. 11 or 33-41 the number. So they're going to need 11 and change. They just did it once.
11-13 to be exact.
To match the number. Seems like a perfect opportunity for a station identification. Once again, all USBC Open Championships live stream broadcast this year brought to you by Track Bowling. And with that, I'll be right back.
Oh, Dreamers. Fucking
And then you have Tommy.
Danny Combs is nice.
Yeah. The other guy's nice. He's just so quiet.
I don't know him. Oh, Lonnie's great.
But then Tommy.
All right, once again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Aaron Smith alongside Matt Cannizzaro at the 2014 USBC Open Championships held at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. We have just kicked off game number 3 with Oregon Bowlers Association 1 and 2, highlighted by Craig Tuholski, a former exempt player on the PBA Tour. And we are seeing a clinic so far through 2 games. We'll see if they can keep it up. OBA 1, after games of 10:82 and 11:46, needs 11:13 to take a share of the lead. Craig Tuholski leading the way. 5:26 at the turn. Starts off game number 3 just as planned with a strike. One of the group's teams, OBA 4, started with 11:40, went 10:49 the second game. They needed 11:52 take a share of the lead. 2 doubles so far through 5 frames, 2 opens as well. So they're going to need to start striking if they want to get to that number. Matt talked to these folks before they started, talked to Craig in particular. Wanted to play as far right as they could, at least for the 8 righties on the pair. Attempts to break them down. They didn't use too much surface, actually quite a few pearl balls to start, possibly scuffed up a little bit, hard to tell from here. But a few of them have stuck with the same equipment, just migrated left. A few others have made ball changes. But their plan should be carefully viewed here, because so far they're looking to be in really good shape. See their name at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the day. Nice trip 10 for Losley there. 6-pin just leans on it enough. He is rolling after that rough start. It's a nice shot for Tim Myers. Bouncing back after the open in the first frame. Kathy Tribby made a ball change to start game number 3 here. She's got a double.
All right, Mr. Smith, we are back in business. All messages have been delivered. Richard Bliss, our 50-year guy, will be well taken care of. His interview approaches, talking about how it feels to reach number 50. 2 more gentlemen will hit that milestone tomorrow. So exciting year, both big scores and a lot of milestones being celebrated. That's what this event is all about. I alluded to it earlier with Craig Tuholski, who was impressed with the 25-year plaques and what it means to reach that milestone here, something he'll be shooting for now with only another dozen years or so to go. But for some folks, winning an eagle might not be in the cards. You never know when you're going to have that career day, but sometimes just the goal of 25 years of camaraderie is plenty. Mr. Bliss, 50 years, as well as his teammate, Gordy Bear, 52 years.
They've had some success. We talked about him earlier. Richard in 49 tournaments, and I'm looking as pair lanes right now. He's got 5 out of the first 6. I know he was nervous about coming down this year and making the march down center aisle by himself and having all eyes focused on him, but looks like he shook off the nerves and it's balling all right. But 49 tournaments, he has a career average of 190 along with 2 titles. And then, of course, his teammate, the great Gordy Bear, USBC Hall of Famer, 3-time champion here at the Open. And to top it off, a lifetime 202 average. Mr. Flanagan in the chat room. I've smelt food while we were out here. I haven't smelt any pizza though. You gotta get in your boy Eric Pearson to start delivering for us.
And our gentleman down the way who had the run at perfection last game, finished with 287. I believe he started with 2-0, and now
He's bowling all right.
still has 240 out there, so we'll keep an eye on him both tonight and tomorrow for all events. All these folks will be back on the lanes sometime tomorrow for doubles and singles. That's the way it works here. 3 games of the team event. Generally, come back, guaranteed a spot the next day for doubles and singles. 9 games will crown champions in team double singles, all events. That's your 9-game total, and that is optional. And of course, the big one, team all events. It is the combined score, all event score of all 5 players.
45 games to put up your number last year, the 10th highest ever, 10,247 by Junior Team USA support number 1, Matt Tuckfield, Steve Novak, Anthony Lacaze, Jeffrey Mersch, and Eric Vermilia.
Aaron cheated there. He looked up at the banner.
I always get the Novaks confused, so I had to make sure I got the right one.
I want to say it was starting back after the 2008 event. We introduced the banners and the rafters, so the real championship feel here. The old basketball arena feel to it. Last year's champions on display, hanging over the lanes. That is a goal, and I know those folks appreciate getting the pictures as soon as we're up in business. It's not real, they say, until you see your name hanging on the banner.
Yeah, 3-bagger. Anytime I spare a 7, she gets 3-bagger.
Now here's a great question for you, Mr. Cannizzaro. What's the good pizza out here? If we get off topic for just a second.
But now you're speaking my language. I got 3 that I like in town. My number 1, I think, is called New York Pizza. N-U-Y-A-L-K or W-K, I believe. And it's a little bit of a hike. It's about 9 miles away from downtown, close to where we live, on the south side of town. but it's the real deal, and their restaurant is filled with New York Subway and sports memorabilia, so that they understand what New York pizza is all about. And of course, I'm not one to pass up a deal. So happy hour at Brew Brothers over at the El Dorado. 2-for-1 pizzas. Can't miss that when you have the opportunity. It's a walking distance. It's very convenient. And finally, the El Dorado Buffet, one of the best in town, and also good pizza there. Surprisingly, they have a brick oven right there. They do their thing. It's fantastic.
If you ever need to know anything food related in Reno, Nevada, Matt Cannizzaro is your man.
I don't know much about bowling, at least not as a bowler, but I sure do know a lot of history at the Open Championships, and I know about food. And the Reno cuisine is among the best I've had in my 10-year Open Championships working career.
Oh, what a break there for Losley. What 4.9 he says. Getting the love from the teammates.
So, Aaron, is Losley going to single-handedly carry this team here in Game 3 into the top spot? 11-13 is what they need to at least get a share of it. That is a big number.
Now he's going to use the word spark plug up there at the top of the lineup. And we've mentioned it before, he had his struggles early on, but ever since he started striking, he's been delivering this energy that's I think everyone's feeding off of, especially after the struggles, and he was joking around about it a little bit, and missed some makeable spares, and so he made those. He was having a good time when he got his first strike, and since then it's been all business, and he's been the catalyst for this team.
Well, that's the exact role of the leadoff bowler, is to spark things, get things going, the momentum, and he's the guy that's going to get to that lane first and get the read and report back. But more than anything, if your leadoff guy can get the team excited, it's going to carry over, and we're seeing that here. Myers delivers a strike after Losley here in frame number 4. Zabelle now up on 15. Trying to make it a team 5-bagger. Goes high, leaves the 6-10.
One pair to our right. Part of this group here, OBA 3 and 4. OBA 4 had the big start and needed 11:52 to take a share of the lead. It doesn't look like they're going to get there. It looks like they're going to be a little bit short. Not finding a lot of doubles so far in a few opens, but OBA 3, there are strikes everywhere up there. They're clean so far through 8. Joe LaPon leading the way. Still has 279 through 8. They could put up a real big number here. They got off to a slow start though, 9-16, but it's opened up nicely for them, and they are taking advantage in game number 3.
Well, we talked about that as part of the strategy, and you want to break the lanes down, open them up, grind out game number 1 has kind of been the strategy in the recent past. And then if you do it right and stick with it, potentially the lanes could be wide open, almost house shot like in game number 3 for the big finish. That's one way to do it, of course. Consistency and filling frames also getting the job done here at the OC.
Well, last year we saw teams near the top of the leaderboard, into the top of the leaderboard in different ways. Lodge Lanes 2 went big the first game, 12:06 I believe, and then finished it up with a few very solid 11:60 games. Junior Team USA Support, our team all events leader, they struggled. I wouldn't say struggled, but they showed patience in the first game. Let's say that. They grinded out. They had their game plan, and talking to Erik and a few of the other guys, they knew it was going to get nice for them just from grinding it out, and then they went 1,200 their last 2. We nearly saw the highest team game shot out of Red Carpet Lanes, who we'll see on Bowl TV in a few weeks here. They shot 12.72 on their way to 34.99, so certainly many ways to get the job done here. Tuholski's run at 800 ends there. Needed them all after the spare in the second frame. But he's definitely going to be on the watch list for for all events starting tomorrow. And team all events will be up there as well for these folks.
Copeland gets that one wide right, and it makes it back. So his move right paying off with a double. Losley working on 4 in a row here. Rumor is 10 in a row between last game and this game. Trying to be the catalyst again here in frame number 5. Taking his time, zinking through it. There it is.
Oh, saws the nickel.
Knew that was coming. Let you have that one. 5 in a row.
Get off me 5 was the quote afterwards. Get off me 5 for 5 in a row.
So a 4-9 goes his way. Saws the nickel, as you said.
When you leave as many as I do, you have to enjoy them when they do fall down. So
certainly, but most often your nickel has a friend.
The 4-pin.
The 4-pin.
Oh, I wish we were joking.
And Myers goes light, tries to mix him up, leaves the 7. So he is not liking the right lane here in game number 3. We saw tail end of game 2. His ball kind of fading at the pins and had an opportunity to try something on the fill ball and didn't. Threw a great shot. But after kind of a weak response on the prior shot, stuck with it and is now strikeless on the right lane here in game 3. So 11-13 is what they need, but hard to get there without a double.
I'm still mesmerized by the scoreboard over on 18 right now. That has potential for a humongous game. As they're in the 9th frame, Wade Reese, Joe LaPond, Evan Nash, Jody Reese, and Erik Hohlbein. Hohlbein? We'll call him Eric H.
Well, Hohlbein, a left-hander, struggled in game number 1. It did not look pretty on the scoreboard, but patient, sticking with it.
Shot 148, followed that up with 215.
They do have multiple lefties on that pair to help with the process.
Great shot by Zabelle there.
Zabelle has been on with the spares today. Mixing in some strikes, having a solid evening.
Never a doubt for Tuholski in the 5th. He's got to figure out the left lane now. 5:26 at the turn.
Great shot there from Copeland, and we appreciate everybody sticking with us here. I know it's late on the East Coast, but we've got some excitement. Possible lead change. So these guys, they need 11-13 to get a share of it, and starting to pick up the the pace of play and striking here halfway through game number 3. Once again, Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith live at the 2014 USBC Open Championships, and we seem to pick them pretty well. These folks making a name for themselves on the national stage right here. Great players from the Northwest, and now on display. We appreciate everybody joining us and sticking with us here as we ride it out here in game 3.
You know, I've been talking about OBA 3 compared to our right. By my math, they can go 12:35 this game with a humongous 10th frame, so they're certainly going to jump up the that 28:47 they see right now is going to jump way up.
Looks like we're going to be awfully busy tracking all events and team all events tomorrow. A lot of great sets in the building here on this smaller team squad. We haven't had too many 7 p.m. team squads, but this certainly is a good one. Some great teams bowling on 25 and 26 right now. Some familiar names: Boost, Sean Green, and Chad Pierce. We had them on a live stream a couple of years ago. Having some scoring issues, the pair to our left, getting those sorted out, but that not distracting any of these OBA teams. Kathy Tribby stepping up. Lossley on deck, looking for 6 in a row.
Sharpie went Greg Church last frame.
She's making ball changes. Is that the Brunswick Melee?
If I had to guess, unless she's going old school, haven't seen a ball that red since the old Red Wolf days almost. But yes, if it's something newer, I would guess it's the Brunswick Melee. She was throwing DV8 earlier, one of them in the Brunswick family.
And there's the nickel paying back Ryan Lossley, the 5-7.
Well, in instances like this, you can always say you always got the 10 up. Let's see if he makes a run here. There's a slight move needed. See if we can get it to the right of the 5-pin, slide it over, take out the 7, and move on to the 7th frame.
Great effort there, but
Catches a little bit too much.
leaves the 7. Here's Myers coming up on his good lane. 2 for 2 on the left here in game 3. 0 for 3 on the right. Take advantage. So he's still sticking with that Tor Fusion. High flush gets the 4 to go. To our right, Joe Lipin, 258, the left-hander. Wade Reese, 233. They're on their way to a big finish here as well. 9:16 start, 10:36 game 2. This is quite a group, Aaron Smith.
Quite a group indeed.
And they made a switch at the last minute. We actually were scheduled to see team number 3, Lipin, Nash, Reese, Hohlbein, and Reese. And Nathan Davis here on our featured pair, quietly starting with the front 5, leaves the 2-4-7 in the 6th.
Looks like both lefties are still using the ball they started off with. like I said, very different surfaces there. The hypercell for Davis, and not 100% sure what Ledford is thrown, but he's used it to games of 205 and 231. Tuholski slaps the 10 out there. Getting a little deeper on lane 15.
Well, he was 0 for 2 so far this game, and big double there. These guys are still in contention. Current leader, 33-41. Storm Products, led by Lindsey Boomershine, Chris Sand. They kind of knew when they bowled it, they had a great set, but probably wasn't going to hold up as a leader. Copeland almost leaves the 5-7 as well, gets the 5 out.
See, as these guys are moving in, there's still plenty of oil in front of the head pin down the lane. If these balls pushing that much and getting some hits like that, so they've done a good job of keeping the hold area out there. Now it's just a matter of getting the ball to face up at the right time. Lossley back on track after the open in the 6th.
Some bad carry to our right here in the 10th frame. Could have been a really big game for OBA 3, but still, after the 9-16 start, very nice finish. We'll have that final number for you in just a minute. 31-59 for OBA 4 with a 970 finish. So again, one team.
Oh, they're not done yet, Matt. Guess I got 20 more pins they can add on.
All right, well, one team going up, one team going down. So interesting how that works out sometimes with companion teams. So 31-79, the final number for OBA 4. 1140, 1049, 990.
So that'll be a nice, nice number here. Erik Hohlbein can add on 90 pins to their score. They can get to 31-42 after the 9-16 start. Myers takes care of the spares, still unable to strike this game on 16.
Well, Aaron, spares kept him in it, but spares aren't going to get it done here.
Still working on some strikes here. 11-13. It's the number they're looking to take a share of the lead. Anything else? And I guess if they shoot 11-13, we'll be talking about, but anything above that, we'll have new leaders and a new number for all teams to be looking at in the next coming months.
Looks like a shiny disruption for Zabelle. Might have even moved a little bit right. He's staring at the 4-pin after the double.
But OBA OBA 3 over on 17 and 18. One strike away from 1190. I don't think we've had a 1200 yet. Might be the highest game we've seen so far. Almost 1190. 1189, 31-41 for OBA 3. So both teams 3100 plus.
Tuholski with the 3-bagger. He's been solid all night. 257, 269, I believe, were the two scores.
257, 269 for Mr. Tuholski.
It's like the left side is starting to go through a bit of a transition as Davis goes high again. This time, just the 2.7.
Great shot by Copeland there. Certainly is going to be a great way to end our Bowl TV broadcast today. We'll see where these guys finish today. Once again, 11-13 to take a share of the lead. And Matt, we've been on the air for nearly 3 hours now. Coming up on it, and we haven't talked about what's coming up next on our live stream schedule, which can be found on bowl.com/openchamp. But our next one is actually going to be a pretty cool one to enjoy. It's not till April 1st, but we're going to feature the team event of USBC Hall of Famer Bob Hart. It'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. But obviously, many folks in the industry know Bob from his work with Storm and just all the great things he's done for the sport. And we're going to be here, Bob, and hopefully we'll get to see Bob get his crystal pin for 100,000 career pins here at the Open Championships. Just 472 pins away. If Mike Flanagan's still in the chat room, I'm sure you let Bob know we expect him to have that after 2. But yeah, that's going to be a very cool moment. Personally, I have never seen a 1,000 or 100,000 pin ceremony, so I'm excited for that. And Bob making his 58th championships, especially after some of the health problems he went through, it's going to be a pretty cool moment to be a part of. But once again, if you want to see, I saw someone ask about Matt McNeil. We will feature him on May 5th. There's doubles and singles. But if you want to get a full list of the lineup at the Open Championships, as well as the Women's Championships out here in Reno, be sure to click on bowl.com/openchamp. Click on the information button, and then you'll see a 2014 live stream schedule. And we got the whole lineup there. Looking down the road after Bob Hart, we will have on April 5th, Wisconsin's Red Carpet Lanes put on quite a show. We'll see their doubles and singles. On April 11th, also the opening day for the Women's Championships. We're burning the candle that day.
We're good at planning, clearly.
We'll have the team event of Ryan Whitney and Chris Hands. Ryan Whitney had a fantastic year in Baton Rouge. We'll get a chance to see that again. Followed up, we'll have the intercollegiate singles and team championships going on the next few days at the RSCC. So Lucas Wiseman will be in the house for that. And then we'll have our first defending champions on April 20th and 21st. We'll feature them on the 21st, bright and early at 7 a.m. Junior Team USA Support number 1 will put their team all events title up on the line. So that's just a look at some of the ones coming up in the next few weeks. And then we'll stop sleeping for a while because convention will be in town after all that. Live streams left and right, a Hall of Fame ceremony. I'm trying not to laugh on the air right now, Mike Flanagan, but it's in the mail, I've been told.
I want to know who voted on that poll.
Well, I was on that committee for one, so that was the opening thing. Big strike for Tuholski in the 8th. 3 out of 4 so far.
Aaron, these guys are trying to give you some work to do. 33-41, the number. You're at 22-28 after 2, so 11-13 gets him at least a piece.
They don't want a piece, though. They want the whole thing.
Nobody likes to share, especially when it comes to Eagles.
Rolls the 10 out. This is grown into an intimate setting here. We got the OBA 3 and 4 watching. They're all done already. Most of the house already done. But we're just starting the 9th. So they got a big crowd rooting them on here. So
Tell you what, this reminds me of 2005 when I was just a young kid at this game. But some unknowns. Maybe you've heard of them. Jeff Riggles and Steve Richter, Gail Myers Jr., Mark McDowell, and Mike Stady.
I think it's pronounced Rich Gels.
They made their run in doubles and singles, and it was absolutely dead quiet when Riggles polished off his 298 game.
With a 5-7?
With a 5-7. They shot 1,500 in doubles, and they took home the Team All Events title that year. But you heard his too bad echo throughout that entire convention center when it was all said and done. And they knew they had the number.
You can also hear too bad at our bracket sponsor during the late night shift. It's Sands Regency Hotel Casino. I'm sure Riggs will appreciate that.
Tough spare here for Lossley.
Needs it to lay off, it does.
Every time I say that, they pick it up like it's no problem.
Can you say that while I'm bowling? That's a tough 5-pin there and left right there.
But he got the 7 and the 10 out.
4's still up there, though, after the spare conversion. He needs another shot, folks.
He is 17 for 23 on this spare this year at the Open Championships.
Great shot by Tribby there. All eyes are, let's see if Tim Myers can figure out 16. He only needs 2 for one more shot.
Strikeless here on the right lane here in game 3. Double would be huge right here. Been with the same ball all night.
There he goes. Big strike. First double. Strikes on 16.
Good time to figure that out.
These guys are loose. They're having fun. Another key to success out here.
Gotta have fun, and you got a 4-team group here. Obviously close friends, know each other and each other's games very well. A lot of support, communication going on. Other 2 teams already done, but haven't moved an inch. They're still here. All 20 players. The 10 won't cooperate for Trent. We're looking at 4 really solid scores here out of these teams.
Everyone's, I shouldn't say that. Copeland only won under 400 so far through 2 games.
Certainly all 4 are around the top 10, if not in it already.
Not sure what leaned on the 10 there.
Fate. That's what leaned on.
Fate leaned on the 10th. Zabelle takes care of the 10-pin. He's been fantastic on spares all day. Started game 2 with 7 spares in a row before making a ball change and getting to the right part of the lane. Let's see if Tuholski can keep it going.
Tuholski solid all night, 257, 269. Made the right ball choice. We talked to him earlier. Talked about what he might go to later, but no need for that. This Ebonite pivot point has been on point all night.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks, folks.
The only ball out of the bag since practice. 4 in a row, looking for 5. Not good for Tuholski. He knew it when he let go of it. The 4, 6, 7. Anything but that. So now it's time for the team to rally around him. That's why it's the team event. Heard it a lot. Pick me up, bro. That's what you got to do. And
takes the 2 for sure.
the other day, actually, it was the team all events leaders, Town and Country.
They got off to a very rough start in doubles there.
Yep, they were getting down to it at singles, and somebody would make a bad shot in the same field, same atmosphere, and they said, "I got you, bro. I got this. Shake it off. Let me do what I do." It is eerily quiet in here.
Just Copeland looking for 3 in a row. Picks up Tuholski like a champ.
The only pair going in this 78-lane venue. We've got a shot at the lead here. 3 in a row for Copeland. Aaron Smith doing the fast math. He's the guy without a calculator even. Here's Lossley up. Fire this team up in the 10th frame. Working on a pair of spares. Again, light mixer. Gets the 5 out this time, but leaves the 7. So this game started off fantastically and then unable to get those light hits here later in the game. OBA2 Sipes looking for 5 in a row and a big finish here.
It's nice
Great
to see
shot.
Todd get some strikes here. It seems like it's been pretty close all day. Just hasn't found the carry and a few splits here and there, but it's good to see him get off to a strong way to end the day and look forward to tomorrow.
Well, I'll tell you what, Aaron, being the 4th best team in this group is still going to be a nice payday. And a good head start towards team all events tomorrow. Different lane condition, but all the momentum. Sipes looking for 6 in a row. They got the place to themselves. You can't throw it any better than that. Lossley gonna wrap things up here. Gotta get every pin you can at this point.
Finishes out 221. Great comeback for Ryan. Some early struggles.
Pat on the back for that one. Good job.
7 in a row for 226. Great finish for Sipes. Tribby also working on a double. Tim Myers. He was perfect on that lane this game and was high. Lucky to leave only the 4. Pitch there by Chibby.
Great shot. I think it's going to be close here, Matt.
Wouldn't have it any other way. A nail biter. I'm on the edge of my VIP seat here behind lanes 15 and 16 at the National Bowling Stadium. 4-pin, no problem for Myers. He'll be at 198, I believe, with a strike here on the fill.
That is correct.
Tribby up, looking for 4 in a row here. Started this game with the 3-bagger. All 10 for Myers, puts him at 198. So through 2 bowlers, plus 19. They need to get to 113.
For my Matt, still got a chance to take the lead. 33-47 unofficially up there still. Not much room to play with though. Great shot by Zabelle. Wraps the 6 around the 10. I think with that, Storm Products Incorporated can breathe easy for one more night.
Still plus 300, a great head start towards Team All Events. The marathon, 700 and change over, leading Team All Events right now. These guys need to finish strong here, get them all.
I think that's 30 clean for Zabelle.
A lot of spares for him. Kept him in it, of course. 33-36 by my math. The best we can get here. It'll be good for second. That will require 7 more strikes. Tuholski almost flawless all night long. The split in the 9th frame. See if he can bounce back and finish strong here.
All right, good place for it. Trent Zabelle.
Put that number down to 33-33. Big finish for OBA 2 right here. Making a move. They've cleared 3,000 with 2 bowlers to go. Tuholski, about the highest team set we've seen. Pretty close. Daryl Carrion shot 300, had 756. We've seen some decent numbers.
Trips the 4.
That one left off his hand, it looked like, but held. Got the 4 to go. Got to make a move off of that, I think, or he just grabbed it at the bottom. Take advantage of that break. 33-33 still out there. Great run here. Great live stream.
Certainly so. A lot of fantastic bowling and a lot of great information for everyone at home. Hope you enjoyed it and can use some of the notes this group put out too. To put towards your own game. covers up the spare for 2:15. He's going to be at 7:41, leading the way. Davis finishes out 2:33. Back-to-back 2:30s for him. Great shot by Copeland there.
Aaron, I think it's safe to say that these guys certainly shared the load here in the team event tonight. Picked up Lossley after a 169 start. He came back big with 255. Copeland doing the work, picking up Tuholski here late in game number 3. Myers and Zabelle steady. We're at 32-63. 2 shots to go for Copeland. So we saw he started with the crazy antics. A little bit earlier rolling, a little bit more surface. And that ball started to check early. Made the move to the disorder. With some polish, gets down the lane, but still has plenty of pop, and he straightened up and has been money here in game number 3.
It's already in the 250s. 33-23. One more strike.
Good place for that. Holy moly. That is a mess, but 255 for Copeland. 33-19, second place for OBA 1. So they had it within their reach, came up a little bit short. 9th and 10th. Could have gone a little bit better, but second place nonetheless here at the Open Championships. 30-95 for OBA 2. 31-41 for OBA 3, and team number 4, 31-79. So there's some solid scores for this group, and we're going to get ready to wrap things up here. Perhaps grab a team picture and get ready to tear things down, head back to the office. We appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Once again, Matt Kenazar and Aaron Smith here at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. That's going to do it for Aaron Smith. That's the news for now. We'll see you on the lanes.